Some world news now. Israel dealing with huge internal protests and now international criticism.
The parliament passed a law today as part of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's effort to overhaul the country's judicial system. NBC's Raf Sanchez has the details from Jerusalem.
Thousands of protesters have gathered here in front of the Israeli parliament in what was a last-ditch effort to try to stop this legislation from going through. In the end, it wasn't enough. There was a cry of despair and anger from the crowd here when the news reached them that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's bill to weaken the Israeli Supreme Court had gone through. One woman we spoke to had tears in her eyes. She told us she didn't know what she was going to tell her children in terms of Israel's future as a democracy. Now, the Prime Minister would say that this legislation was necessary to curb the influence of unelected Supreme Court judges who he says were standing in the way of his government carrying out its agenda. In the end, the vote was 64-0. Every single member of Netanyahu's right-wing religious government voting for the bill, while opposition lawmakers walking out of the chamber in protest. But the scale of opposition to this bill shouldn't be measured by the vote inside the Knesset or the people on the street. Israeli businesses also closing their doors today in protest of this legislation, and thousands of Israeli military reservists saying they will not show up for duty in protest at this legislation. Prime Minister Netanyahu also ignoring an unusual last-minute plea from President Biden, who's asked Israeli government leaders not to move ahead with this divisive legislation, given that it was splitting the country. So many questions now about what this government will do with its newfound powers, what this will mean for Palestinians both in the occupied West Bank, inside Israel, the LGBT community, women, and the future of the U.S.-Israel relationship. Raf Sanchez, NBC News, Jerusalem.